Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Humanity, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh on behalf of Mother Planet Earth, as well as on behalf of Ashams, as well as Khmer. My people, today we are going to look at you, the living human beings on planet Earth, as well as every other living creation within your domesticated companions and the environment. The most important thing is that the environment, because without environment being in providing its obligation to welcome new creations on this planet, then that would be very complicated with it, because over the years I did present a record for the last 11 centuries of humanity, in which activities of humanity were grossly represented as very destructive, either to the environment or to the human beings themselves. So with that, I would like to remind you, human beings, that you are all living Muslims on this planet. You are all creations living on planet Earth, as long as there's a spark of life in your heart. That spark, its origin is the pulse of Islam that occurs or knocks at dawn and says, "He is Islam, the door to eternity, the door to life." As long as you are a living human being, your life can only have a spark of life, and life is a religion on top of that. Life is a religion. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. So long as you are able to wake up, either raise up and wash your teeth and this and that, that is because of the most holy, beautiful religion of Islam. So with that, as I said, we are going to look at human beings, the environment, and you as an individual. What do you understand when the word Islam is mentioned in your life? Do you view it as something to point an assault rifle at Islam, and because of your ignorance you think Islam is an enmity? No. When you go under such influences, that's when I recorded 11 centuries of very, very destructive behaviors, destructive intellectual, psychological, and physical mutilation on what you call a cult of death, which is basically represented in every language now, which is known as Christianity. Because there are so many branches which branch off within the cult of death. Because if you are to look at the signature of the cross, or if you are to examine the cross on Jesus, or the cross on which Jesus was crucified, that is what we call desecration of the dignities of a human being, a creation of a human being, and life as it is basically interpreted in the religion of Islam. Because in the religion of Islam, Allah says, life is a religion. And that religion, that most holy, beautiful religion, is Islam. Whether you like to hear that or not. Because the evidence which accompanies that statement of Allah that life is a religion, and that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. Take, for instance, maybe you live in a village in China, or you live in a village in Ghana, or you live in a village in Zimbabwe, or you have a plantation of corn, what you call maize. Each plant of maize that is on your farm or whatever is a statement which says Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion. While you planted this seed, and Allah provides water for it, Allah provides moderate sunlight for it, Allah provides even its breaking and germinating from the soil. Allah did that. Not your so-called cross of which you crucified Jesus. So with that, it's very, very imperative, very, very required of you to understand your relationship with the environment and the environment's relationship with your belief, their beliefs, and with your religion. Because Allah says, life is a religion. You can only realize that life is a religion if you are living. If you're not living, then you wouldn't be, because there's no spark of Islam. There's no spark of life, which is called the spark of dawn, the light of dawn at dawn, which brings life into you. So if there's no spark of life within you or whatever, you're not existing. So you wouldn't know how beautiful life is, and you wouldn't know that the most beautiful religion of Islam is what we call life. And that life and Islam is the name of Allah, one of the most holy, beautiful name of Allah. Allah has names and attributes, but the most open, clear name to creations on planet Earth is Islam, because the tree says Islam. Even the ocean says Islam, and it bears witness of the Quran. The ocean has even the rain, when it is raining, it bears that there is no deity worth of worship except Allah. With that, the religion of the most holy, glorified Almighty Allah, the name of the most holy, glorified Almighty Allah, is what comes as drops of rain and drop on this planet in a straight, making a kind of a straight mark within what you call space. When you are looking at rain when it's falling, you'll be able to see a drop making a straight. That spark, that flash or whatever that says rain, it makes an I, a letter I in the European alphabet or the English alphabet. It makes a letter I. A letter I is an I which is spelled like I. It's like a one, but it says I. It says Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion. Why Allah has released His most holy, beautiful book, the Holy Quran, the noble, holy, eternal, living Quran, which He spreads on the horizons, east to west, north to south, and over you in the canopy as living human beings. So Allah releases the rain, and it says it comes as a drop of rain, but it makes a mark before it touches the ground and says, Allah Akbar. Ashahad ala ilaha illallah. Is Islam the most holy, beautiful religion? If you men and women knew how beautiful Islam is, how beautiful the religion of the most holy, glorified Almighty Allah is to you, because every one of you who is a living human being is able to look, if you have your eyes are working properly, when you look in the mirror, or when you have children. Some of you are young women who have children. Even if you are in your 80s and your 90s, you'd look at your grandchildren. You have 7 daughters or 3 daughters. Each of those has got a grandchild, a creation who calls you grandma, grandma, grandma. If those children came running, about 7 of them say, hey, grandma, 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 you'd feel the joy. And you say, this one looks like my sister who used to, we used to have this one looks like your aunt so and so. That reminds you that the beauty that you see in those children, your grandchildren, is indeed life. And life is a religion. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. Because if you have grandchildren, you must have a compound where you manage to produce your children, and you call it your home. You must have trees in the compound. A tree grows from a seed, and that seed, when it stands up, it bears a witness that there is no deity worth of worship except Allah, by saying, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah. When it says that, Allah gives this what? A stem. That stem is a solid thing, a solid thing. A novel solid circle thing, which holds leaves. That leaves covers the canopy of that stem. Each leaf of that tree is a complete ashahada, which is Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah, continuously. If you look at the leaf of any tree, it has a signature like letter A, a practical living letter A. A practical living letter A is, it says, Allahu Akbar, Allah Alpha and Omega, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. So if you put that in your brain, then you realize that life is very, very beautiful. You wouldn't go out of your mind and say, I'll manufacture a nuclear warhead. If you did, manufacture a nuclear warhead, make sure you dig a sinkhole and start burying those dirty things which you call weapons. Because they're not of any service to you. Therefore, they are there for men who thought they are wicked, they were intelligent, whereas they were drowning in foolishness because of the cult that they conjectured, a cult which says, we crucified the Son of God. What if he whom you say crucified says, oh, you say you crucified me? Then I crucified you in the doom of foolishness, that you manufacture weapons, thinking that you are holding wealth and intellect, whatever, whereas you are holding death within your warehouses. When that happens, what can you get out of a nuclear warhead? Is there anything you can put in your stomach? Nothing. With that, Allah says, Islam, life is a religion. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. Whether you like to hear that or not. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.